لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, it is with great pleasure that we're starting a new series of classes, inshallah. Qasasul Anbiya, the stories of the prophets. One thing to mention before delving into this topic is that in the Arabic language, when you say qasas and when you say qisas, the scholars in the Arabic language, they've said there's a difference. Qisas and qasas. Qisas with a kasra, they say, is usually used for fake stories. You say these are qisas, stories, usually made up stories. But with the fatha, if you say qasas, then usually it is referring to a true event, to a true story that has happened. And you will notice that in the Quran, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about a story or stories, then He uses the word qasas, because it is a true story. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only speaks the truth. So in the Quran, when you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, فَقْصُصِ الْقَصَصَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the Muslims to narrate the stories, the true stories, whether it be about the Prophets alayhi wa sallam and their lives, or pious people, or even the stories of people who have been destroyed before. The story of Fir'aun, the story of the people of Lut alayhi salam, and these kind of stories. Why? Because there is a lesson in those stories. There is a lesson. So that brings us to the topic itself of the stories of the prophets. Why do we talk about the lives of the prophets separately from the other stories? The scholars in Islam have said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us in the Quran to narrate the stories of the prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself tells us the stories of many of the prophets in the Quran. In some chapters you will find the story of a single prophet from beginning until the end. Like the story of Musa alayhi salam in Surah Taha. Almost the entire chapter of Surah Taha is dedicated to the story of Musa alayhi salam and what he went through with the Bani Israel. Similarly, Surah Yusuf alayhi salam, the whole surah, almost from the very beginning until the very end, tells us about the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling these stories for us to convey and pass on these stories throughout the generations. From one generation to another generation, so these stories are not forgotten. These stories are not forgotten with time. Another reason the scholars in Islam, they say it's important to learn about the stories of the Prophets alayhimus salam, is that there is a great lesson. There's a great lesson in their lives. In Surah Al-An'am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in a few verses many of the prophets. More than 10 prophets, one after the other, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions them by name. And then towards the end of those verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبِهُدَاهُ مُقْتَدِهِ, that follow their guidance. This is a clear instruction to the Prophet ﷺ and to the Muslimin after the Prophet ﷺ to follow that guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave those prophets. So these are some of the two main points that the scholars have mentioned, and they've added other points as well. They say specifically to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever the story of a prophet is mentioned in the Quran, it served as moral support for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions. So you will see that whenever the Prophet ﷺ was going through a difficult time in his life and the companions were facing difficulty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would tell them the story of Yusuf alayhi salam and how he went through difficulties in his life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would tell the Prophet and the companions about the story of Musa alayhi salam and the oppression that they faced with Fir'aun and so on. So these stories, they also serve as motivation for people. And it puts things into context. And it is not meant to take away the suffering that we might feel or the struggles that we have in our lives, but it is to put things into context. That yes, we have difficulties, but the difficulties that the Prophets ﷺ faced were far greater. And that should make us feel a sense of gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also come with the patience that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. Now, the first story that we will go through inshallah is the most obvious story, the story of Adam alayhi salam. Before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created creation, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that 50,000 years, 50,000 sana, 50,000 years before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote down everything that would be, every single thing that would be. This is the qadr. And in another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ told us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the first things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created was the qalam, was the pen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told that pen to write. And the pen asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what should I write? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the pen, write every single thing that will be. Meaning the qadr, write every single thing that will come. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala began creation, and this is being narrated by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the creation of Adam alayhi salam, some people might wrongfully think that Adam alayhi salam was the first creation. That is not correct. Adam alayhi salam was created after a number of creations has already been in existence. And we are told in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He wanted to create Adam alayhi salam and mankind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to place on earth a khalifa, a successor. Now, you just from that one statement in that verse, you will come to realize, if you're paying attention, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the earth. Meaning what? That the earth was already created before Adam alayhi salam. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying He wants to place on earth a khalifa, a successor. And the response of the angels is, they say, أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءِ. Are you going to place someone on earth that will wreak havoc, make fasad, and وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءِ, and shed blood? Now, the story that is well known is the question that arises from this is, how do these angels know of something that hasn't even been done? That Adam alayhi salam is not created, but yet they're saying he's going to do this and this. And the angels, they don't know the future. The angels do not know the future. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the future. And Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he explains this in a very beautiful and simple way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, when he talks about the creation of human beings and the creation of the jinn, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَالْجَانَّ خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ مِنْ نَارِ السَّمُومِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the jinn, before the creation of human beings. In some narrations it says that these jinn, they lived on earth 2,000 years before the creation of Adam alayhi salam. And in the Israeliyat, the stories that have been mentioned by people who used to be Christians and Jews and then became Muslims, in those old scriptures it is mentioned that Iblis was actually from, not only was he a jinn that was from amongst the people who lived on earth, but he was a pious person. He was a pious man, a jinn that was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those group of jinns, what they used to do on earth was they used to fight. They had huge battles and they used to kill each other in great numbers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down armies of the malaika. And from amongst these events, what happened was Iblis was taken up by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a favor to Iblis for him being a pious person. So Iblis ended up being in the company of the malaika. He ended up being in the company of the malaika. And the distinction that Muslims make, and this is an important distinction, is that we say that Iblis was not an angel. He was never an angel. He was and always will be a jinn. Why is this important? Because when you talk to people from other faiths, especially the Ahlul Kitab, the Christians and the Jews, in particular the Christians, we have a lot of similarities in the stories of Adam alayhi salam and so on. But there are certain things that are different. One of those things is that they say that Iblis, Satan, was an angel, and they refer to him as the fallen angel. That he used to be an angel, and then he disobeyed Allah, he disobeyed God, and because of that he fell down. But in Islam there's no such thing as a fallen angel. Angels cannot disobey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. That the angels do not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the least. They do not have free will. وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. And they do what they are told to do, exactly. So Iblis was not a human being. Iblis was not an angel, but he was a jinn. And he happened to be in the company of the angels. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created Adam alayhi salam, He sent down in some narrations it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down some of the angels to gather some clay from earth. This clay has been mentioned in different ways in the Quran. Sometimes it is mentioned as just turab, sometimes it is mentioned as tin lazib, sometimes it is mentioned in different ways. So this clay is given different properties, and one thing that has been mentioned in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is that this clay was from different parts of the world, meaning it was different in color and it was from different parts, different corners of the world. Now, one thing that, if you look at it from a scientific perspective, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, مِنْهَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ وَفِيهَا نُعِيدُكُمْ وَمِنْهَا نُخْرِجُكُمْ تَارَةً أُخْرَى. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that this earth is the substance of our creation. Our bodies, our physical bodies, are created from the earth. وَفِيهَا نُعِيدُكُمْ. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying that He will put us back into the ground. I ask you, what happens to the body when you place it in the ground? What happens to the body? The body disintegrates, right? It dissolves into the earth. After a few years, maybe 10, maybe 100 years, if you come back to that same body, you might not find anything. Maybe just a few bones. This is a clear indication that the human body is part of the earth. And even scientists themselves will say that the elements that the body is made out of, it can be found in the earth. The oxygen that is inside the body that helps keep us alive, it is found in the earth. The carbon, all these other elements, everything is found in the earth. And this is just from a scientific perspective. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala